Hey everyone, it's Dre Under the Leaves, and I have a great video for y'all today. We're going to be talking about 5 beginner-friendly houseplants and houseplants that I generally just adore. So just for context, I live in New York City, which means that I experience 4 seasons. So the plants that I'm recommending are plants that can actually endure like some of those shifts and changes in weather and the season pattern as well, and will still kind of like do well and like not die, not croak, etc. A lot of the plants that I have, I've had for an extended period of time. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a genus that I think is starting to get a little bit more popular now in terms of like it being beginner friendly, and that is Aglaonema. So the first Aglaonema that I have to recommend is my Aglaonema Maria. I'm not fake, so I'm gonna show y'all. I do have one leaf that's kind of yellowing, but it's the only one on the plant, and I'm pretty sure this happened because I didn't water it on time. Yeah, anywho, this plant is super easygoing, and this yellowing leaf has also been happening for quite some time. It hasn't even extended further down. I've been waiting for the whole leaf to go. It hasn't. I think I took a little too long to water it one time, and by a little too long I mean like almost 2 weeks, and it didn't die, so I really love that. It didn't even fall down or look scary, which some of the other plants that I have will be a little bit more reactive, but I generally like it because it grows. It does not grow slow. It's not super fast, and it's not super slow. So I would say you'll probably, especially given that right now is winter time, I've been getting like 2 leaves a month or something like that. And I think that that's pretty fast, especially in the winter. So I'm sure once the summer comes around and the humidity increases, it's gonna take off, like take off. Staying in that same family, I have the Aglaonema Silver Bay. If you're a person that likes lighter leaves, I really like this one. I see so many people having like really bushy specimen, so that's kind of the goal that I have with this one, and it's growing really nicely. Currently I have 2 new leaves at the top, and I can already see that there's some new leaves coming out again. It's a very beautiful plant, and what I also appreciate about an Aglaonema, especially as a beginner, is it doesn't grow up. You don't need to attach it to a pole, worry about support. It literally just continues to get like bushier and bushier and spread out and out as well. So I really enjoy this plant, and I 10 out of 10 recommend this one for beginners because A, it doesn't require super high light, and by that I mean it can like tolerate low light. I need to clarify, low light does not mean no light. So you do still want to make sure that it's getting some kind of light. But what I mean is like, it doesn't have to be right underneath a window. You can keep it like say 6 feet away from a window or something along those lines, or about 3 feet away from a grow light. Next up, I have a plant that if you have watched any of, or if you've seen my first video on this channel, you'd have seen, and that is my Stromanthe Triostar. She's really doing. Also, I repotted this plant, I don't even want to say, like maybe like 3 weeks ago. I don't know if y'all can see, but the roots are already coming out, and I just feel like wow, she's really doing her big one in here. The roots are coming through, they're doing their big one, and she is growing. She's a prolific grower. I also have recently learned, I don't know if you can, if it's picking, yeah, it definitely is. There's a bleach spot. So I'm actually moving it away from where it currently is. And the reason I brought this in as a beginner friendly houseplant is because initially when I had this plant, it was in lower light conditions and it was doing well. I put it into a higher light spot, but it's been repotted. I think this time that I've just repotted it must have been like the 3rd time I've repotted it in the year that I've had it. Transparently, that's my fault because I keep repotting it into pots that are not like super huge. But I know that after spring, when the spring is over and she's like fully wrapped up this again, and I repot it, I am going to repot her into something much bigger so that she can actually last for about a year. I don't think you should be having to repot your plants every few months the way I've had to with this one, but her roots just grow so quickly. She grows so quickly, and she is like such a bush right now. I almost can't even believe how much she has grown. It is amazing. This is a great beginner plant because it does not require, like for me in my home, excessive amounts of water, and transparently the ambient humidity during the winter time in my living room is like 20%. And she's doing absolutely fine. I water her maybe once a week or so. And I definitely just check the pot. I see if there's any like, especially because I have a clear pot that I have it in, I'll see if there's any like mist or whatever in the pot. If there is, that means it's still kind of damp. Or you can also check by the weight of the pot. You'll start to know when you pick up your pot and it's very light, you'll know. And once you've watered it, you'll know like the weight kind of shifts. If you're a beginner, again, and you're looking for low light plants, this is a good one. I don't know if it's very low light, but it's like medium light. So it doesn't need to be right underneath a grow light, nor does it need to be like in your brightest window, but it can be a great office plant. I'm actually considering putting her right over there. We're gonna find out, but I'm pretty sure she is going to remain in my office moving forward. But I just wanted to show y'all because, again, beautiful plant. Look how stunning she is. So this next plant, everybody has seen a plant similar to this one. This right here is my Pothos Neon Queen, but I have so many different Pothos. Actually, I have a Marble Queen. I have a Golden Pothos. I got this one because I love a Pothos variety. I love a hanging plant, and I wanted to be able to give this plant some time to grow. I also really think that a Pothos plant is a good beginner plant because you can propagate it, right? As you're learning to propagate, this plant grows so quickly that if you do decide to like cut it and take cuttings, so you can learn how long to propagate and transferring to like from water to soil, or from moss to soil, or from moss to whatever substrate you're planning to use. It's really helpful and it's very rewarding, considering I chopped this one, I'd say less than even 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, if that, and it's already giving me a little nub that it's getting ready to grow and push out a new shoot. I think that's really, really, really awesome. I really like a Pothos, and I think that if you're looking for something that's going to be green but also be rewarding, this is the one. Oh, I also want to add that this Pothos is the only plant on the list that I'm recommending that will truly show you with all of her heart when she is thirsty or if something is wrong. Now, I have my Pothos in like a chunky-ish mix, but what will happen is your Pothos will literally fall down. Like, she's gonna drop. So you just want to kind of make sure that you're keeping an eye on her. By keeping an eye, I don't mean checking every day, but like once a week or so, once every 10 days, you know, just look at her and you'll see if she's falling down. For me, I will say that I don't really always wait until the Pothos falls all the way down. I do go around. I have a day that I go around and check my plants and see what they need. They don't all need to be watered on that same day, but I am at least able to see like, okay, I know I gotta come back to this one in like a couple days. Yeah, but she's really great, really, really sensational, and also a plant that you'll learn from without being as dramatic or difficult to care for or easily killable like Peace Lily, for instance, like, which also does the same dramatics. However, it will die. Like it will die. But yeah, really love this plant. 10 out of 10 recommend. What would this video be if I didn't talk about what seems to be my favorite plant at this point, or one of the two? I'm going to recommend that people get a Philodendron Pastazanum Silver. I recommend this plant because it is very easygoing. At least in my experience, it has been very easygoing. So it's kept directly next to a humidifier. My humidifier is set to keep the room at around 50% humidity. So it's not set to like any crazy high levels of humidity. So you can definitely do well with having it in ambient. If your ambient is, I'd say, like roughly 30-ish to like 60-ish humidity. I recommend this plant, especially if you're looking for something that looks a little bit more unique, right? Like some of the plants I recommended, specifically the Pothos, is pretty regular looking plant. But if you're looking for something that's gonna like, this gives like oil painting, you know what I'm saying? If you're looking for something really cool, but you want it to be easygoing, something you don't have to water every 3 days, I 10 out of 10 recommend this one. This one also can be dramatic if you leave it without water for long. It will start, the leaves, like the stems will start to bend over a little bit. I will say I water this plant roughly every 10 days. I just check the soil. If the soil is dry, she's gonna get a drink. Because I like this plant a lot, I do check on it more frequently. So I might look at it like every 5 days or so. I see it every day because I work in my office, but I will check on this plant a little bit more often, just to make sure that it's doing well. And finally, I have to bring in my beautiful philodendron. This plant is by far, and when I say by far, I mean this plant is quite literally the easiest plant I have in my care. Like I really just had to sit there and sit with that. That said though, I 10 out of 10 recommend this one. I bought this plant, and when I bought it, I think the layer of leaf it was on at that point, it probably only had the ones that you're seeing down here. I've gained all of this top tall bushy stuff since having it, and transparently, you could literally water this plant once a week, once every 2 weeks. She be holding on. I don't know what she's holding on to, but she holds on, and I really do appreciate that. Another reason I will recommend this plant for new plant parents or for beginners is particularly because this plant is self-heading. So a lot of plants that we see right now that are gaining popularity either require moss poles, and I think that that's a lot of work for a beginner. I mean, I think it's a lot of work for me. I don't have any moss poles. I do think that this plant is really great for beginners because it's so rewarding. The leaves get so big, and she's not even on, I don't even have a stake in this pot. And the leaf size is still like, look at the size of this one. Like, let us be so serious right now. Look at the size of that leaf. It's so long, so beautiful, and will only continue to get bigger and bigger as the time goes on. This plant is very easygoing for me. It's lived in multiple places. At some point, it lived like 10 feet away from a window, and it was still growing. It currently lives now close to a grow light. I'd say about 2 or 3 feet away on a table in my office. And it gets water about once a weekish. I check the soil though to see if it's dry. When it is growing, it might require more water. So I think that's why I'm watering it right now, like once a week. But other times when it's not really growing like that, like when there's no leaf coming out or anything like that, I will check the soil after a week, and it might be like damp-ish, kind of, sort of. But I just water it when it's fully dry. And by fully, I mean when I stick a chopstick in and it comes out clean, that's when I will water it. This is not one of those ones where I'm like, if it's halfway, no. I just check if it's fully dry is when I give it water. If it is not fully dry, I don't give it water. Not because I don't think it needs it, but because I know that the stalks, the stems, I just don't want it to rot. And that's how it's been surviving off very minimal care. But again, look at that freaking beauty. I mean, come on. Let's be serious. Thank you so much for stopping in and watching this video. I'm really glad that you all came in, enjoyed, and I hope that this helps some beginners out there with getting plants that look cool and aren't just like the generic monstera. I mean, I have 2 monsteras, but you know, aren't just like those generic plants, even though I put a pothos in there. But with that said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.